But little Faith was of a different disposition. His mind was focused on things divine. His livelihood was based upon spiritual things from above. Therefore, for what purpose would a person with this temperament sell his jewels? If there had been anyone who would have even bought them, it would have only served to fill his mind with empty things. Will a man give a penny to fill his belly with hay? Or can you persuade the turtle dove to live upon carrion like the crow? Though faithless ones can pawn or mortgage or sell what they have, and even themselves to boot, for carnal lusts, yet those who have faith, saving faith, even if just a little of it, cannot do so. This, therefore, hopeful, is your mistake. I honestly acknowledge it, Hopeful said, but at the same time, your stern response almost made me angry. Christian's brows raised in surprise. I was rather harsh, but all I did was to compare you to birds that are especially lively, which run to and fro in untrodden paths with the shell upon their heads like a newborn chick. But let us leave the matter behind us and consider the matter under debate, and all shall be well between you and me. But, Christian, these three fellows that attacked little Faith, I am persuaded in my heart they were nothing but cowards. Otherwise, do you think they would have been so quick to run at the sound of someone coming along on the road? Why didn't little Faith pull together greater courage? He might, in my opinion, have been able to resist them for at least one skirmish, and then have yielded when they overwhelmed him. Certainly, many have called such assailants cowards, but when they come face to face with them in an assault, few have found that to be the case. As for a courageous heart, little Faith had no such thing. And I believe, my brother, that if the same thing happened to you, you would also have surrendered quickly. To be truthful, while you are upset about this matter now, when these scoundrels are far from us, I think you might have second thoughts about how bravely you would confront them if they should suddenly appear to you as they did to him. But consider again that they are in fact hired thieves who serve under the king of the bottomless pit, and he, if needed, will come quickly to their aid himself, and his voice is like the roaring of a lion. Be of sober spirit. Be on the alert. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. I myself have been engaged in a similar conflict as little Faith faced, and I found it to be a terrifying experience. These three villains set upon me, and I began to resist them like a Christian should. But they were quick to call for help, and their master came to their aid right away. As the saying goes, I would have given my life for a penny, but God had other plans, and I was clothed with armor that had been tested. And even though I was well equipped, I found it hard work to prove myself as a manly pilgrim. No one can understand what it is like in such combat, until he experiences being in the thick of the battle himself. Hopeful responded, "Well, of course, these scoundrels ran when they thought that great grace was drawing close in the way." Christian agreed. "True. In the past, they and their master have often fled when there is the prospect of great grace appearing. And that's no surprise, for he is known as the king's champion. But I trust you are willing to make some distinction between little faith and the king's champion. All the king's subjects are not his champions, nor can they accomplish such valiant feats of war as he when they are tested by assailants. Is it reasonable to think that a little child should handle Goliath as David did? Is it right to expect a wren to have the strength of an ox? Some pilgrims are strong while others are weak. Some have great faith, some have little. This man, little faith, was one of the weaker kind, and therefore he suffered exhausting humiliation. Hopeful let out a deep sigh. I still wish it had been Great Grace who appeared, for the sake of those scoundrels. Christian rested his hand on his cheek and shook his head thoughtfully. If he had arrived during that skirmish, he might have had his hands full, for I must tell you that even though Great Grace is highly skilled with his weapons, as long as he keeps his sword sharpened, he can do very well against such opponents. But if faint heart, mistrust, or guilt can penetrate his armor, he will find the going hard, and may even take a fall. And when a man is down, what can he do? Whoever looks very closely at Great Grace's face will see those scars and cuts there that clearly prove what I'm saying to be true. In fact, during one engagement he had with the enemy, I heard it said that while he was in the battle, he cried out, "We despaired even of life." And isn't it true that these powerful rogues and their accomplices even made David groan, mourn, and roar with anguish? O Lord, the God of my salvation, I have cried out by day and in the night before you. Let my prayer come before you. Incline your ear to my cry, for my soul has had enough troubles, and my life has drawn near to Sheol. Psalm 88, verses 1 to 3. Yes, and also Heman and Hezekiah. Even though they were regarded as champions in their days, they were forced to rouse themselves because of the seriousness of the assault. But in spite of taking a fearless stand, they had their coats soiled and torn by them. Peter, upon one occasion, tried to do what he could in a similar situation. Even though he is considered the prince of the apostles, these same assailants roughed him up to the point that they made him afraid of a pitiful girl.